Attendees, say here if you are. Karen Schultz.
I'm here.
Rachel Boyer.
I'm
Here.
Yes, you can see me.
Lori Fairbay.
Is that, am I invading?
Not
your
yet.
space? No, Lori's not there yet.
Kate Bliss. I see you.
Here.
Pat Wheeler.
Here.
Bob Blair here. Marvelous. Chris Keefe, I see. Victoria Flynn, I hear.
Hi. Yeah, there. Victoria's hiding. She's here.
Yeah, I see that. Draw back the curtain. Who's over there? Okay. So we'll call the meeting to order at this 4:07 p.m. on Tuesday, January 31st. Almost the beginning of the second month of 2023. Meeting is being held in a hybrid fashion because we're all hybrids as opposed to low brids. May we start into the agenda? All in favor? Great.
Right.
Review and approve minutes of the previous meeting.
And make a motion that we review and approve minutes of our previous meeting.
You only have to approve them. It's assumed that everyone has memorized them and has approved them.
Memorized.
Thank you,
So
Rachel, for
do I hear a
noting.
second?
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Yes, Rachel, thank you.
Thank
Do I
you.
hear a second on that motion?
I second.
All in favor? Go back to the roll call. Karen Schultz,
Hi.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Pat Wheeler,
Aye.
Bob Blair, aye. Unanimous. Unanimous.
You can have it.
Victoria, may we have fiscal updates on donations, expenses, part-time wages, and director wages?
You may, sir. All right.
Yes,
So
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. So here's everything as follows. Part-time wages were $1,714.89. Director wages were $3,225.30. Expenses were $2,575.30, and donations directly to the COA was $521 even.
Right, and what does that come from mostly?
The expenses is
No, the donations.
that is all either Van, Tai Chi, or yoga, or grab and go.
Are people involved in Tai Chi and yoga pretty much all paying for that?
Yes, yes, pretty much.
So the donations were mostly.
It's all the stuff that we have done. So like,
Okay.
it's either like the van. We have some people who, yes, we
Okay.
get some donations for van rides. It's
Yeah.
Tai Chi and yoga. They know that there's a donation for use of service, and then grab and go. Every time we do it, we get donations in as well.
Right.
Good. But typically in grab and go, we get some, not too many.
Well, the last time with this round, I think we're closing in on 250.
Oh,
for
really?
donations. Yeah.
Oh, that's more than I thought.
Yeah, we're just about there. Yep.
Ah, cool. Not cool, lovely. Think of some other adjective. All right.
And the expenses were for.
Expenses are mostly grab and go.
Oh, okay.
And then it's gas, Meals on Wheels. We had an Amazon order. So, but like 80% of that is grab and go.
We ordered on Amazon?
Yeah, we get supplies through Amazon,
Oh,
like office supplies and stuff. Yeah.
I thought you were talking a woman.
She can't
No.
see.
I don't.
It's okay.
Can we move on? Yes.
We could. Tai Chi, yoga, blood pressure clinics, and van updates.
Tai Chi and yoga are still going as scheduled. Blood pressure clinic, next one will be Thursday morning. That is still going as scheduled. The van did go in for service. We had to earmark 2 days for it. What wound up happening is the first day it went into Colonial Ford. Their lift malfunctioned while another vehicle was on it. So we were sent back just saying, just go home, like reschedule. So we rescheduled. The day I had rescheduled it for wound up being a day where we were getting snow. So I called again, pushed it. So it got serviced last Friday.
Okay.
So we're good.
Wow.
So we
We
got
had this van cleansed.
Yeah, really.
So
Is this,
yeah.
saged, whatever.
Something, yeah. Is the van now in dependable shape?
It's in better shape. Yeah, it had an alignment, it had an oil change. There's still two sensors that Ford's waiting for, which I don't know when they're gonna come in, but as a whole, the van is safe to drive.
Well, I just have to say, based on our experience with this vehicle, I would not buy a Ford Man. For some reason, we seem to be jinxed on this puppy.
Mm.
Blood pressure clinic continuing the first Thursday. Okay, you said this Thursday.
Yep.
Good. Marvelous. COA events ideas. We're co-sponsoring with Berlin Seniors on 2 or 3 programs coming up.
Well, we have to take a formal vote for that, I think. So what we're doing is that they've got 3 events coming up for between now and the end of June. They're finalizing dates, one of which is a Clara Barton performer, like a lady who does a Clara Barton performance that talks about like her history and all that stuff. There's another one that is another musical performance, I believe.
Honky Tonk Piano Man.
That's correct. I remember he did
What is
piano. He's a honky tonk piano guy. So he does like a nice mix of like country honky tonk. And then
You would have seen him, Pat, if you went to the Berlin Seniors luncheons 2 years ago. He performed at the First Baptist Church.
I've seen him before, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the final one is Berlin's Got Talent. So
Course
it's
we
kind
have.
of like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the final one. So what we're doing is that I'm in the process of reaching out to Principal Campbell to see what dates are available for the Berlin's Got Talent. Originally, we were thinking, like they were thinking April, but it got pushed to like May, end of May, just to give more time for people to get registered and stuff like that. They're looking at, I believe, June 12th, that weekend of June 12th, for Clara Barton, and then the end of May, right after Mother's Day, I believe, for Piano Man.
Let me look at that because that's a locked in date,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I gave to Judy yesterday. Let's see. No, it was a Saturday. I do not see it on the 17th. I do not see green eggs and ham. Let's see, no. Maybe it's in May. Maybe I have a lousy iPhone.
So as of right now, they've applied for cultural council grants for all of them. I believe that they've been awarded for Berlin's Got Talent and for the Clara Barton performance. I think Clara Barton's going to cost them about $100 that the grant doesn't cover. They haven't asked for any money yet, but they might later. The Clara Barton, I think the thought was have her down at South Common. Berlin's Got Talent, have it at the school, and then the Piano Man have it 1870.
Right.
So
That's
they
correct.
were asking for co-sponsorship of the events so we can reserve 1870 and also reserve 1870 as a backup for Clara.
Yeah, 1870 is locked in for the piano performance.
Since it's already there.
Yeah. I don't know why my phone is not showing it. I just was talking with Judy about it yesterday. Anyway, that is, whatever the date is, it's locked in, and 1870 is where it's going to be. And they're presumably, that's all in indelible ink in their book as well.
So they wanted to know if the council would want to co-sponsor in terms of getting the word out, helping out with any transportation needs and things like that.
For which one?
For all of them.
All of them.
Anybody have any input on that? Or would you someone like to make a motion that we provide transportation services for any and all?
Transportation services that only using the van?
Yeah.
It can only be the van.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's moved and seconded that the COA assist with those productions by providing transportation as needed. And Victoria, you have no problem getting one of the drivers to take on that task?
What we'll do is we're probably gonna have it be a sign up, so people would have to call ahead to reserve a seat on the van.
That
But
makes
if
sense.
people wanna do it, I'm sure one or both of the drivers could be made available, like if we needed to flip flop or whatever. So. But I would wanna do it, have it be a call ahead to book it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yep.
Don't want the driver sitting there idling the engine while the show goes on and nobody comes and goes in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so all in favor of that proposal? He gets his list back out. Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Pat Wheeler,
Aye.
Bob Blair, aye. Unanimously approved. That's good. Nice cooperation among town agencies.
Another thing that I will send out to you all, by email, but just something to think about. We don't have to commit to anything today. There is a company, based out of Boston called JoinPro. And what they do is they do virtual tours, like an interactive, virtual events. Either through, destinations like within the United States and also virtually around the world. So the way that their program works is that you can book a virtual session and they're very interactive. So some of the classes, like for example, they have one that takes place in Paris, and then they can teach you like a cooking class of like how to make something, like, get some information about like a wine vineyard, things of that nature. Or like if you wanted to do something in the US, they could do like a guided tour of like the Grand Canyon or something like that. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that we did the Art in Bloom with the MFA last year, and it was a big success, but it was pricey. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that to have one class, like as an interactive virtual event, is not even $200. And it's a Zoom link like we did with the last one, where people can just get the link, they just click it, log on, and then they're part of it.
So for $200, unlimited people could do it?
So yeah, I asked her if there's a capacity, they said no. So I would think that like I would say like guesstimating probably between 100 and 150 different users could log on, assuming that there's multiple people with some of the logins.
Right.
And what actually do they see?
So it would depend on it depends on whatever the class or the like workshop that they're having. So for example, like one of the ones that they have here is like in Spain. So it'd be a tour of like Barcelona or Madrid. And then you would also like to get, additional ambiance from it. You could like get a virtual, you could see people like taking part in like a dance class, or you could learn how to cook a like paella or something like that. So it's as interactive as we would want it to be. The reason why I wanted to get more information on it is, like I said, they didn't list anything about pricing. So I wanted to know before I brought it to the council. It's nothing that we have to commit to, but they also have a program where you can do, you can sign up for multiple events in a row. So like they have like a 6-month plan or a 12-month plan with multiple events.
Yeah.
So it might be a way to get people involved, knowing that like once a month or twice a month, there's another like COA sponsored thing going on, What I will do is I will send out the information to the council. We don't have to vote on anything today. And I told the lady that I was going to bring it to you all, just to get clarification and stuff like that. But they're saying that they need at least a 2-week notice, depending on whatever we would want to do. And they said, depending on if you're doing a tour that is international, they do it in local time there.
Okay.
So we would have to take in consideration the time zone difference. Sure. So for example, they have one that you tour the pyramids in Egypt, in Cairo. So, but it's 7 hours ahead.
Yeah,
so like they would plan it. So it's either going to be, they would have to plan it. So it's like mid-afternoon there, like mid to late afternoon there. So we can watch it here at an appropriate time.
Right.
So that's what they said, was just be mindful of the time.
Mhm.
But everything is live. It's not a recording. People can ask questions.
Okay.
They can give feedback, things like that.
Is there
Wow.
some place we could do that where if somebody wasn't able to, if they didn't have the electronics to do that? It could be-
So what we can do is if you guys are interested in doing this further, I know 19 Carter did do the Art in Bloom, like in a bigger setting.
Yeah.
I'm sure Northbrook would do the same.
Okay.
I'm sure we could get, a couple other viewing stations
Yes.
set up with enough time.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
again, like if you wanted to do it as like a trial, if you wanted to do like a one as a trial, I think that that would be appropriate. And if it's something that we think is worth time, money, energy, you know, we could think about doing multiple in a row.
It'd be like a little field trip for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
does.
I said, it's, and like their target audience is seniors. They say that they always have their guides are people who speak slowly, clearly, concise,
okay.
with loud tone of voice.
For some of us.
I would assume that, you know, like, you know, I know that we have some people who may need like closed captioning and things like that. I can ask them how do we request that, just so you know, we make sure everybody can actively participate and be involved.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, like I said, because it's something we get to kind of choose,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, like the United States one sounds nice, but when I heard about Egypt, I was like, hello, you know, like how cool is that? So yeah, and it,
This isn't one of those pyramid scheme things, is it?
ba-dum-ba.
Ha, ha, ha.
So yeah, so I will send you guys all the information out. They sent me they had a brochure, they sent it to me today. So I'm printing it out for Karen and Pat to look at in person, but I'm going to email it out to the rest of you. And like I said, we're not committed to anything. They said it's basically like, I figured if we like it, the idea, maybe try it once,
Mhm.
see what the feedback is, the response, see if we like
Yeah.
it. And then
Sure.
if it's something that, you know, is much liked, then we can look at doing this more ongoing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
that's.
Yeah, sounds good idea.
I think that's a great idea.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
I think Bob had too much
Okay.
caffeine today.
I did. That's it. I just came out of the
I don't know,
cold
maybe
after.
I was trying to be nice.
I just came out of the cold after trying to chop up a hickory log. So my brain hasn't started actually flowing yet.
I don't know, you have
Speaking-
access to your bag of puns.
No, it's too far away. Speaking of the Art and Bloom, you know, the Worcester Art Museum and Tower Hill have collaborative Art and Bloom shows as well. And I'm wondering if our COA van is available to take people up to Tower Hill or to the Worcester Art Museum or both.
I would say during the week, it might be a challenge because we've had some days where we're getting killed with requests for medical appointments. I would think what we could do is if there was a particular day, if we wanted to book something out, I would say it's probably feasible. But I mean, honestly, like we've been getting requests for already the end of February. So I would say if we're going to book out something, book out like a good month out, just so I can let Peggy know. So, and we can give people enough notice that like, if you have any appointments this day, please reschedule it or, you know, cause we're going to.
Well, we should see when the next Art and Bloom collaboration is between the Worcester Art Museum and Tower Hill, and then hopefully get some big blast about it in the next Powerhouse News, perhaps.
Yeah, because I like Karen said, I think our Tower Hill just released in like their spring schedule because I know that they
Just
had.
came- I
Right.
just
Yeah.
saw the email.
So, and then I don't know if I just also want to look at costs too with that, just because I know sometimes it can be pricey. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And again, like, you know, if the council wanted to purchase a pass or something like that, they may say it may be valid for so many people. So
Like a
we'll see.
membership type.
Yeah. So we'll see.
It could be.
So with regard to the last point, are you checking that, Victoria, or would you like somebody to check that?
I'll check it because I'll
Okay.
see if we can get a municipality membership and then like see it might cover so many people. I'll get the info and we'll report back for next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, great, great. Okey-doke. Well, I'm a member there, so I could actually take 2 guests, but that probably wouldn't cover the entire senior population of Berlin.
Well, it
Probably
would
not.
not, sir. No.
So I think doing it through the COA is a smart idea.
Well, yeah, let's see what we can do.
Any other ideas for events upcoming or we could have coming up? Is, Chris, do you know of any plans for Berlin Home Day or whatever they're calling it, coming up this coming summer, June or whatever?
Mayor,
I have not heard a thing.
We seem to have missed it for a couple of 3 years now because of COVID, but
Because of
it'd be
COVID.
great if we could get back into that nice community activity.
It was, who was it that did it the last time?
Lisa Wysocki.
No, I mean,
oh.
but the,
What committee?
yeah,
That I don't know.
I don't remember.
Wouldn't-
I don't think that we, well.
the
back
Lions
in-
Club, wasn't it the Lions Club?
No, they weren't involved.
Okay,
Yeah, it was Lisa Wysocki and then a group of people from the animal hospital
right,
and our old highway department head.
Yeah.
Oh,
His
Dave.
name is escaping me.
Dave?
And I think Sharon was on the committee. I
Okay.
helped out reaching out to businesses and yeah, there was, I think some talk with the Lions about doing the food, but at that point they're, I don't want to call it a food cart, but it was,
That's what it
it
was.
was out of Board of Health, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
They
they were
finally-
running into trouble with that. And then
Finally,
they ended up getting food trucks. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
food trucks are a good idea. Yeah, the Lions have
Right.
sold
I,
their
I
trailer.
thought for sure we had it in September though, or it was like
That what it
later
was?
in the year.
it was starting to get cool, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it
Okay.
was June when we had previously had it. But it was not ended because of COVID. Or I think there was some,
Because the kids use.
Yeah, that was before COVID, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. There was like a couple of years before COVID where we didn't have it.
A lot of trucks and
But we seem to be missing a few of the holiday specials that the town used to have. I mean, Memorial Day, something or other, and nothing's going on then, seems like, and
Yeah.
Old
I was
Home
actually in a
Day.
meeting yesterday with a couple of people from the historic buildings in the center of town discussing that, like, how do we light a fire under these things and get them going again?
Yeah, I think it's gonna take someone to get it going.
It's gonna take a lot of someone's.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, but there are a lot of organizations. If we get them plugged in, then we should be
Yeah.
able to. I mean, I'm-
I think if we can get people to find some common ground.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard because they've all become kind of disassociated because of this COVID.
Yeah, well, yeah. Mhm. I'll end there. There was some behind the scenes drama. Not COA related.
Okay. Well, I'll work on the groups I seem to have any connection with and see if there's any spark that can be.
Yeah. I'll just say if we could find a transition between the way things used to be done and then we've got some newer folks in town who are eager to help out and have some fresh ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to be able to marry the two, and we hadn't before, so.
Good.
okay.
Powderhouse News. How
Um,
have the sponsorship letters been responded to?
So I've mailed out about 70 letters. We have gotten confirmed total cash already of $800. I'm waiting for, we have one person that's committed $100 an issue ongoing. And then the general store and Chef du Jour have promised a sponsorship amount as well. I just don't know the figure as of yet. They haven't dropped off a check yet, but they're going to in the not too distant future. At this point, we have the next issue will be coming out through Clinton Offset for March, April. So
Mhm.
my thought is to get content in by the day after President's Day. So I think that's like the 18th or the 19th of February to give Lori time to work on it. Because I
Right.
also know she's starting to do the annual report.
Yeah,
So I want to make sure we give her, like, I want to give enough time for content to come in, but I also don't want Lori feeling like she's got to rush last minute to do it.
you said February.
Yeah, I figured like the day after President's Day,
Day
because I
after.
figured like we're gonna get, people are gonna be like in that mindset beforehand.
Right, right.
let me ask this with respect to sponsorships. I think what works when you would like people to sponsor is personal contact, where you, if we divvy up the list among our board members and each board member agrees to go see 5 or 6 or talk with 5 or 6 people eyeball to eyeball, explain the situation and ask for their support, I think that engenders more response than a letter alone would.
Well, that is something that we can discuss. A lot of the smaller Berlin businesses have been trying to contribute. That's what I've noticed, is that majority of our sponsors are very small local business.
How many did you say they were?
So as of right now, we have gotten checks from 4
Okay.
like entities that are, the biggest which have actually was Clinton Savings Bank, believe it or not.
Well, that's appropriate.
Yeah. Like I said, Chef du Jour and the general store are going to be dropping off checks in the not too distant future.
So you're
So
counting those in the 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and
Wait.
no, they're separate.
Oh, so 4 plus.
Plus them. Yeah.
Okay.
And
But you
then
said your total list was how many?
I've sent out about 70 letters.
So you've had 4 responses.
We've had 4 already cash given to us.
And
One's pending on an ongoing basis, so that'll be 5, and then we've got 2 more coming in, so that's 7.
Okay.
Is there anyone on the COA board who would be not willing to go out and contact businesses?
Go out. for-
So
Um,
here's something else to think about as well. The formula grant application has been submitted and we're waiting for that.
Okay.
When we get it in, it's going to be about 14,000. The cost of about 750 issues for 6 issues is running about $4,500. We do have the money to cover costs if we needed to. If the council did not want to, which is, I understand, and if we couldn't make up the money with sponsorships, there's a couple different options that we have. Option number 1 is that we could expand the Powder House to be a town paper, not solely for seniors. So other town departments can help contribute to the costs, knowing that it's already got a base of people that it's going to be mailed out to, things like that. Another option is, as well as, because we as the town, like because the council is a town entity, is asking for these monies, it has to be a sponsorship and not an advertisement.
Right.
And I think it might dissuade, it's probably dissuading some people.
Got it.
So the loophole is, if Berlin seniors were to publish the Powder House News, they are not a town entity, they can ask for advertisements. But the hiccup there is, I don't know if, say, for example, their advertising efforts came up short, if we could cover the costs. And I know that they cannot afford it if they
Oh.
do. That's the hiccup.
I think there should be a lot of discussion before we make that decision.
Right. So like I said, nothing is decided. I would say, let's plan on maybe 1 year of us doing the sponsorship as it is. Because I don't want to take away the business from Clinton Offset, because every other town entity uses Clinton Offset. They've proven themselves with everything else in the town. I think they're going to serve us well.
Mhm.
I don't want to take away their business.
Right.
And they're not charging anything super ridiculous compared to what other agencies do. I do think that once issues come out, we can start, I'm gonna put in a blurb in there when we mention sponsorships, like if even residents would want to contribute, they certainly can as well. We're not asking for anything like over the moon, but
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
wanted to directly contribute to it, that's fine.
Have you spoken with other departments about their interest in potentially participating in an all-town
I haven't,
departments?
I wanted to have a conversation with the council first, considering it's a council paper, before I went to the town departments. But it is budget season, so it's not a bad conversation to have. I can bring it up at next meeting, when I have with department heads in February, which will be in about 2 weeks anyway. But I didn't want to open up a can of worms with department heads. If you guys were like, absolutely no way, then fine, subject's
Yeah.
dropped. But it is an option.
Well, the other aspect of having it, excuse me, be a all town offices publication is you're not talking about sending it out to 750 senior households, you're talking about sending it out to all the households, I assume. So your
Well,
publishing and mailing costs
possibly.
are going to be
I would
considerably
say though,
higher.
I mean, possibly you'd be sending it out to more households, but at the same point too, I think you're also gonna have like a lot of millennial and maybe even like, you know, Gen Xers that may just even want a digital download of the thing. Cause that's how a lot of, I think, you know, younger people have still stayed connected.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
just having the digital download of it, which we would still offer. So I think with the senior population, like, I mean, I think we're gonna get some seniors who may say, I don't want a physical copy anymore, but I would say the vast majority still want a physical copy.
Right.
I would say as you skew towards a younger and younger population, people are gonna say, well, where's the link? I can just look at it at my leisure.
Yeah. True. That is true.
So
How many, Chris, do you know how many households in town we have? As opposed to just senior ones?
Boy, I don't know. It's a good question for Eloise.
Yeah.
because there
Seniors is 700 and something, or
Right.
just over 700.
Really?
Oh, just over 700.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, I know Eloise is working on census collection now, so we're not gonna have those numbers for a little while, but like I said, this is something that, you know, even the council can think about and we can decide later. I have designated a special account with June's help solely for the Powder House. So when these sponsorships comes in, it goes directly to that account. It is kept separate.
Okay.
And it is meant for the publication cost and postage only. Just because I figured that way it's easier to track and then we can, you know, it makes it less murky.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wait much past the next edition to determine if that's the route we're going, because otherwise I think, I don't see why the COA board couldn't go out and schmooze some people into being sponsors of the Powder House News.
I think it absolutely is worth the effort. I don't mind, you know, continuing to make, you know, different, you know, in-person visits as well. I don't mind. I know that a lot of the smaller businesses around here are hurting. And I think the ones that can contribute have been. And again, I know that again, a lot of the farms, especially they have an off season. So I think, you know, like during their season, they may be more willing to contribute, or they may say, you know, like if summer's their busy time, like, you know, maybe we'll get them in the summer versus not.
Yeah,
So
but you can let them figure out their finances and decide when and how they want to contribute. I just think that it makes some sense to have businesses in town feel like they're part of getting communications out to the residents of the town, because we don't have a town paper. We don't have any super coverage from the Clinton item if they're even in business anymore.
So that, like I said, I mean, I do think that, you know, having additional solicitations fine. It's been a little while now since the letters have gone out. So it's not like, you know, it's not like they went out yesterday and we're banging on people's doors.
Right. When did they go out?
Most of the bulk of them went out in December.
Okay.
Like I said, if we want the Powder House to merge from being solely a senior paper to now a town-wide paper, I can bring that to department heads. I can bring up that, you know, that suggestion to them and just get a general consensus for if people would be interested in it. And then just saying for anything that they would want to contribute, we're asking for coverage of costs.
Mm-hmm.
What does the board feel about this?
Seems like there's no harm in having that conversation, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I agree with you, Bob, in that sending it out to all the households would probably make our mailing costs go way up.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the future of this town, you know?
Well, aside from having, I mean, yeah, the town,
It's grown, so maybe, you know, the needs are different.
yeah, the town's grown. The only townwide communication news stuff that we have is Berlin Neighbors Connect and the one other site.
On Facebook, yeah.
Well, on Facebook.
But there's no print, there's no
Right.
print version of that.
Mm.
And I don't know, when all the millennials grow up, then maybe that's what, if any of you are millennials, I apologize.
Apology taken, Bob.
Oh, thanks. Okay, now we've got that squared away. Yeah, okay, so let's go with this, checking with department heads, but then not wait very long before, if that is not sounding like something that's happening, then instead of dipping into our funds for all programs, let's get on the horn and start calling people to be sponsors.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm happy to make calls.
Moi aussi.
I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I think too, like, once we have our next issue go out, we're gonna continue to be soliciting too for sponsorship, requests. And I think too, like, we can, I know Berlin seniors have given money for sponsorship, and their block, I kid you not, is saying that if we support our town and our council on aging, won't you, or something like that. Just trying to get more people to drum up that way as well. So
Should we have like a script that when you call these places, or how do you want to?
we'll figure that out next meeting.
Okay,
think-
so
I
we're not
think-
doing it right now.
No,
Okay.
I would say, let's see if anything else
Another
comes out.
Yeah.
Let's see what department heads think about having it be more town-wide.
Yeah.
Seeing if department heads think that it's a good idea to start, if they'd be willing to contribute some funding for it. And again, like, it may be, I do think that it's like, we will have the costs through the formula grant to cover it, but it is not a small amount of money. And I want to make sure too, that we're getting the most, the most out of it.
Yeah. I do like that idea though, to have some talking points to keep us from maybe using some of the words we're supposed to stay away, or not using some of the words we're supposed to stay away from.
Well, I can figure something out. I can talk to Kristen and get a PC.
Okay. Yeah, I
get a
just
PC
want to
script
make
or
sure, I
something.
don't want to say, like you said, Kate. something I
Right.
shouldn't Say, or.
Yeah, where it's not advertising.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah. Nope. No
And you
foot and
have to
mouth, we
choose your
promise.
words wisely.
Better work on it for us then.
What have we got up our sleeves to put into the next Powderhouse News?
I've got a few things I'm working on right now. I'll be sending it to Lori, about like fall prevention. I'm gonna do a write-up about the, Berlin, history makers, just talking about like introducing that column formally. Holiday Farm has something that they want to have put in. I'm gonna reach out to the sponsors that have already contributed and see if any of them want anything put in as well. I know Kristen mentioned that there's probably some stuff coming up with town elections, because town meeting's the end of May. She's probably gonna want to put some stuff in, so, well, Dennis's goodbye is gonna be in there. I figured I'm gonna wait until probably the May-June issue, if at all possible, to introduce Chief McQuillan and Paul, our new treasurer, just because, give them a chance to get settled. But yeah, I think we'll find a way to fill it.
All right. Anybody have any ideas for the 5 Ws?
Or
We've done, well, actually, it could be the farm that you mentioned, because we've done all the other farms in town, I
yeah,
think.
Holiday Farm sent me a blurb, and then what I'll do is, we can see if it's enough for the 5 Ws, and, if we need to expand it, so be it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then think too, so Berlin history makers are basically any, no longer living Berliner or Berliners who've made an impact on the town in a positive way. So just if you think of anybody that you think would be worth exploring.
Okay. FYIs. What are FYIs?
For your info?
So we moved on from Powderhouse.
Yes.
We've taken the powder. We've taken the powder. Yes.
So just general updates. Select board reviewed budget last night. I gotta go to FinCom tomorrow night for it to be approved. I don't think there's gonna be an issue, but we'll see. As I mentioned earlier, the formula grant info has been submitted to the state. So now it's just waiting for it to get processed.
I'm sorry, what was submitted?
The formula grant.
So-
So that's been submitted. I don't know how fast they're processing. I can't remember, because this is the second year that now you can do it completely online. And I just don't remember how fast it was last year. But cutoff for that was mid-February, so it's in. So our town report for Council on Aging's in, got that submitted last week. It was due today.
What were the actual results of our last grab and go?
We, as a whole, still very positive. I believe we had we got out about I think we ordered 90 meals to about, I want to say 60 households.
Okay.
So overall, it was still pretty positive. I think for the grab and go, like it was much easier in terms of packaging because we only had the 2 meals. It was all,
I
you know,
thought that went well.
no, it was extremely smooth. Like they were done packing within an hour.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
so
yeah.
fast.
Oh, good, I'm glad. So it was 90 meals for how many households?
I think about 65.
That's what I think so. Oh.
Yeah.
It
I
was
have
very
one
slick.
piece of it. Excuse me, go ahead, Kate.
No, go ahead. You started first.
After you. Nope.
I was just gonna say it seemed really slick. I mean, I don't know. I was there like a little over an hour.
Yeah.
And I think we just had that one person that we couldn't connect with.
Yep. And then no issues otherwise.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to come, I don't know.
So we were
I
good.
think I was a little late.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. That's okay.
It wasn't you, Chris. It wasn't you. I just felt badly, like I didn't want to leave and then have Victoria hear from that person after I gave it away to somebody else,
We
you
were
know?
good. We were good. So, yeah, so I mean, as a whole, it's still continuing to be
People
positive
seem
event.
to enjoy it.
They do.
That's good. Did you get one?
She did.
I did.
That's good.
Do we have any thoughts about when the next one should occur?
The other question will be as well, some people have requested a luncheon again. So like an in-person luncheon. I would say if we wanted to do like an in-person luncheon, I would advise waiting till spring.
That would be warm.
Yeah. Then plus the fact.
And where would that occur?
Well, depending, I guess what we could do is we could just get a general head count of who'd be interested.
Yeah.
Because if people are interested, what we could do is if it's a small number, we could have it here. If it's a larger number, we could even have it at 1870, I think.
Right.
Where?
1870.
1870 town hall.
What? Up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we did it at 1870, well, yeah, I wonder if any of the performing arts, if there is such a thing, programs at Tohoto would be interested or willing to have somebody come and do, people with no ego who don't mind playing while everybody ignores them. But if they would be interested in coming and performing while people fill their faces.
Well, I guess the question would be though, that if we did it like during the spring while school's still in session, they would all be in school.
Don't they occasionally go out to certain, like I think they've gone to the men's breakfast over in Boylston, and had the band play, or even just a few of them.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'll have to see who the contact would be for the music department to see. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I can. Yeah.
I don't have a contact for that.
Anyone have kids there? Kate, your kids are too young to be over at Tohoto yet, right? Rachel, do you have kids at Tohoto?
Nope,
Okay.
they're old, too old.
Well, you don't have any.
But I just thought, or even, I don't know if this is also a possibility.
A great.
If they still are playing, there was a Berlin
Over there?
Country Orchestra, just something as an addition to the grab your food, sit down, munch, and go.
My oldest one.
I don't know if the orchestra's still together.
Well, okay, I'll check on that.
Okay.
Evie was part of it at one time. I don't know if she still is, but
You mean the Carter Street Band or
well, there's that. Plus,
or
there
the
also used to
Contra
be,
dance?
there also was the Berlin Country Orchestra.
Yeah, but they did the Contra dance stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I've also seen them perform in front of First Parish Church for something. I don't know if it was Old Home
Okay.
Day or week or month or whatever.
They are still, I think. If it's the same one that I'm thinking of, they've started rehearsing again.
Good. Yeah, maybe the old COVID thing again is bollocks that up for a while. Well, I think
The other option too would be, depending on when we wanted to have it, if it's warm enough, we could even have it outside. And then even just having it outside, I don't know if you'd want entertainment, but I mean, again, something to think about.
then you have to budget for fly swatters. well, it's a big, it's a big thing for some people. Anyway.
All right, so either a grab and go or a luncheon.
Yeah.
So
I think what we can do is,
You could have the luncheon down at Northbrook.
we could, but I think that there's gonna be people who are not Northbrookers who would wanna go.
Right.
can they not go there?
I don't know. I don't know how the parking would be. That's
Okay.
the only thing.
Yeah, parking, I don't think is the issue. It's whether or not people, I mean, even when the Northbrook Board has had events at the community building, out of the 40 units there, I think we got something like 15. And you think, what the hey? You go down there to get your mail. You can't come down to have a meal at Thanksgiving, whatever it was. So it takes more than just sticking an invitation out, apparently.
I mean, we could still use chef du jour, even if it was an in-person luncheon. So what I can do is I can reach out to Tracy and see what their availability is come April, May, just to see if like how they're looking. And then, like I said, I would think if we do a luncheon and or another grab and go, maybe do another 2-mealer and just give people 2 options and just see what happens.
Instead of the 3 options.
Yeah. Because like,
And that's in what time frame?
thinking maybe April or May.
Okay, so March, April. So the March, April edition could theoretically advertise it if it were in April, or particularly if it were in May.
Have to decide that right now because the deadline will be the 18th, so we have to get that in there. We won't be meeting again until.
So here's what we could do. Why don't we let people know that we are planning a luncheon, like that we are planning another food activity, even if we say beginning of May. It gives us enough time to figure out, like, get some availability from them to see like how they're looking. And that it also lets us know too, gives us an outlook of like, how are people doing between flu, COVID, everything else.
So keep it vague, but say we're doing it and then we'll be more specific the next.
Yes.
Okay.
And then just say tune in.
Mhm.
Because what we could
Okay,
do
yeah.
is even if we did, even if it was something that was like beginning of May, that May, June issue of Powder House would probably go out mid-April. Be enough
Right.
time
Right.
to get it out to people.
Mhm.
Because
It'd be put together mid-April. They won't get it until the beginning of May.
no, well, I mean, it depends though, because with Clinton Offset, we've got no delay now. Remember, as soon as we email it over to them, they can get it out because we're not waiting now for LPI for shipping. And then we're not having to worry about trying to get it over to the post office they're doing it for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
So
that's good.
that's gonna save us, that'll save us some lag time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Separate subject, what was there, I know that I think we advertised it, didn't we, Victoria, that if people wanted their sand buckets refilled, they could get
We
them?
did.
We did.
Was there any response?
I didn't get anything. I don't know if I didn't see anything on Facebook because like I said, I only see Berlin Neighbors Connect. I don't see the other one.
Oh,
I didn't get any calls or emails about it. And I didn't see anything on Facebook. But I'm also wondering too, because it's been such a
the
mild
weather's not so
winter.
mild, yeah.
I think a lot of people haven't really been thinking about it. So I'm wondering now that like we're starting to kind of have now the cold but again, who knows
They
what,
won't-
yeah.
They won't get, unless we put it on Berlin Neighbors Connect, they won't get news of it until whatever we have of a winter is pretty much over.
So, yeah,
I mean, people should remember from last year.
yeah.
One of the people on my Meals on Wheels run has a bucket right outside the door and still got most of it sand and salt. So
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't a demanding winter or something.
Yeah.
We've had a mild winter.
As a whole,
So I
yeah.
can say that one.
So I mean,
Okay,
let's see.
it ain't a big deal. We don't have to beat people over the head to make them take sand and salt. But if it's odd that nobody apparently has even tuned it in.
Because
It's
the
odd
thing-
it's so mild.
Right. Well, the thing was too, is that we were even offering to get new buckets if people, like if somebody who missed it last year wanted it. Because a couple people, we did get a couple calls come April being like, oh, I would love a bucket. And it's like, yeah, we
Didn't have
finished
it.
that. We finished up that program. But
Yeah.
but I warned people, I said, we're 35% sure we're going to do it again in the
Yeah.
fall.
Mhm.
So keep an eye out. And
And then
then,
didn't hear anything.
Okay, so that'll be on this fall's bucket list. So now, is there any other business? Anybody have any other business to discuss?
we are good for now, at least on my end.
Okay, anybody? Going once. Going twice. See the lady in the back row with her card up. What are you bidding? No. Very well. Next meeting. The
Is when-
last
Yeah, what's-
Tuesday at 4 p.m. So the last Tuesday of February is when?
It is February 28th.
February 28th. Okay. Anybody planning to depart for Florida or something between now and then? So we won't be sitting here wondering where you are when you aren't.
I think that's you, Pat.
I don't go in February. I wait and go in April.
Then the answer is, are you going to Florida, Bob?
Are you going to Florida, Bob? Oh, I am going. I'm going down to the Daytona race,
Oh, well,
but that's only
Okay.
for a couple of days.
yeah,
You're on the 28th.
no, I am not. Very well. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A
4:57.
second.
Here a second. Let's vote on it. Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Pat Wheeler,
I
Bob Lair. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.